Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Apologize for being late. Let me plug this in. Bam. Get that set. Hello. How's everybody doing? Is the light and sound okay? Let's get it locked in here. Let's get it locked in. What's up? Surfing with Putin? Yeah, Putin gets it all yappy because he's like, you and Jill Stein need to do my bidding more, and we try. Oh. She's all like, but I want to overthrow Hillary. They get all muddled. Sorry, I'm eating a protein bar. I didn't want to be any more late and make a protein smoothie. Sorry. Reusable water bottle, so I don't keep buying plastic bottles. Is the audio and the video all good for everyone? Hello! Real Jingy. You late bastard. I deserve that. I'm late. I'm sorry. Gungamar, Brazilian in Germany. Tudo bem, ausgezeichnet. Joseph Sakata got a YouTube notification. Outstanding. Marcella Stevenson, hello, how are you? Paul Lang. Raging Hangover, Graham. What can Bernie do that about that for me? Bernie would suggest drinking coconut water. Electrolytes are good. That's what I know from back in the day. Marcia Smith. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm eating a Think Thin bar. Very good. Let me show you. Well, it's all mangled now, but 10 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and they're very low sugar. It's vegan. It's great. Shelby Hall, I was rage tweeting at Morning Micah for being such a self-righteous piece of shit. 5x5 lights and sound. Socks and blessings. Gungamar, you still don't speak German. I moved last week. Tudo bem? Não problema, meu amigo. Eu falo português com você. Eu entendo português melhor, German. Mas no problema, meu amigo. Brasil, tudo tempo, tudo vida. E o americano, com certeza. Mas me sengua, brasileiro. Yes. Bike blessings. Hey guys. I love doing I haven't been able to do as many Darians lately, but man, they're fun. David went, how do I turn on subtitles? I don't know if YouTube has that feature. But here's what I said. I said, no problem, my friend. I speak Portuguese way better than I speak German. And I said, I'm an American, but my blood is Brazilian. Você fala muito bem. Ah, obrigado, Gungamar. Obrigado. C. Blaine, everyone see the Michelle Wolf takedown at the correspondence dinner? Brilliant. Yeah, and she got skewered for that, which is crazy. Boom! Right out of the gate, Balthazar 228. Thank you so much for supporting the show, guys. If you're new to it, one way to support the show is you hit that dollar icon, and then you get your question pops up here, and I will absolutely read it. Balthazar 228. How long until? Let me make my microphone a little better. How long until CNN says time-traveling Russian Terminator bots colluded with aliens employed by Putin went back in time in order to stop the DNC from ever committing to rig the 2020 primary. That's going to come soon, Balthazar 228. I think there's going to definitely be, there's got to be some sort of Skynet, a Skynet accusation has got to be right around the corner. They're probably drafting it right now. But yeah, that'll come quickly. It's insane. So in this last week, we've had the DNC is suing. Who are they suing? Russia, and they're suing WikiLeaks. They're suing WikiLeaks. Fantastic. Yeah. And CNN and MSNBC are just pro-war parties. Pro-war parties. Pro-LARPA party. Pro-LARPA party. Pro-LARPA party. Pro-LARPA party. For LARPA cardi. Hey, Bacardi. Yeah. Balthazar 228, another donation. Oh, the go-between was Randy credit card. Balthazar 228, hashtag when you lead with your lawsuits. It just shows how they're so crazy. They won't acknowledge the lawsuit that was filed against them. They won't acknowledge their own crimes, but then they kind of do by saying, we're going to trim back the superdelegates by 60% or whatever, or 40, whatever their bullshit number was. So you're admitting then that the superdelegates are a problem, and you're trying to appease people that are like legitimately pissed off because you have a rigged system, but then you're going to sue everybody? You're just going to, no, we're suing. They're so corrupt. It's unbelievable. In some ways, they're worse because the Republicans are just like, we're greedy assholes. Now, they always say they're hypocritical bullshit. We're tired of the tax and spend Democrats, and then they give $1.5 trillion, throw that into the deficit. They give a tax break to rich people. They don't care. They just bold-faced lie to their base. Hey, base, we fight for you. The Democrats won't. And fuck you, we're just going to pay off rich people. But both parties are very skilled at that. You know? The Democrats will just give some liberal platitude lip service, like the article that I did that was in the Intercept about how people like Kamala Harris say we're not taking any corporate money, and yet then they get individual donations from people that work for big corporations. Nice little workaround there. Balthazar 228, DNC, because we rig more than Northeast schooners. Folks, Balthazar 228 just made a Northeast fishing joke. For those of you watching from other parts of the country and world, a schooner is you got to do, rigging is a sea term. So Balthazar 228 is, I don't know, maybe you work the high seas there, Balthazar 228. Arr! This is amino water. I'm getting shredded. Real Jingy, hashtag when the rich lead with their lawsuits. Balthazar 228, thank you so much for supporting the show. You're fantastic right out of the gate. Bluebell 51. Graham, have you heard about the Democratic candidate for governor in Alabama who actually endorsed Jeff Sessions for AG? Oh, God. No. Boy, that's crazy. No, I have not heard that, but I'd like to know. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. So yeah, to clarify, Balthazar 228 is clarifying. Erni is New England, so that's the Northeast or New England. Yeah, it's New England. And rigging is when you put up and take down sails. I had my mom and stepdad had a sailboat when I was in high school on Lake Michigan. It was a pretty cool boat. I learned how to sail a little bit. I like sailing. Scrabble Eddie, Neocon McCarthy say Jill Stein is a Russian double agent, which is unbelievable. And no one wants to jump in on the racism of that? Because this is what the early McCarthyism, all those Jews are socialist communists, those East Coast Jews, that was the undercurrent of the first red baiting back in the 50s. There's a lot of anti-Semitism within that. And now they're saying this about Jill Stein? Unreal. Shelby Hall, thank you so much for supporting the show. I'll see you May 9th in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. My mom doesn't have insurance until May 1. She has a kidney stone infection. I've had to wrangle up meds and try to treat her so she doesn't get ruined financially by going to the ER. It's been 5 days. Shelby, first of all, I'm so sorry you're having to go through that. And that you have to wait until Tuesday. And this is the state of our country, is that if your mom wants care, wants pain relief from a kidney stone infection, which is not some crazy rare disease. It's something that can happen to anybody. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. A kidney stone, you should be able to go get treated like that and for free. I'm sorry you have to do that. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry your mom's going through that. And then the burden it puts on you, the other family members. So these are the options, is having a family member who's in a lot of pain, which then puts stress on them. They're obviously in crazy stress. You're in a lot of stress. All because we have a shitty medical system. I'm really sorry about that. And then you say she's 64 and 3, because she's almost 65 years old. And you got to wait till Tuesday at midnight. It's brutal. I'm so sorry. I wish there was something I could do to help you. And I'm glad you posted this so we can talk about it. I want to make this public. Anybody else? I mean, this is, I mean, I'll tell you I've always had health insurance, and I was paying almost $400 some a month. And I had chronic hip and back pain from sitting on planes, and it got really bad. Like, it was like, and I went to all these doctors, and they thought, oh, it's sciatica, it's the slip disc, it's all this stuff. And basically I found out my hips were doing that, right? And so it was like twisting nerves, and I had a pinched nerve. And I had to get a MRI. And because they thought I might be having a stroke or a heart attack, but I wasn't. So I had to get an MRI, and they basically just said it was a pinched nerve down here in my hip. With insurance, so I had to pay insurance. I had to do the copay. And then there was like $2,500 that wasn't covered for the MRI that I had to pay for. $2,500. And I remember at the time I was married to a woman from Brazil, and she's like, they have socialized medicine there. She goes, you have to pay for this 3 times. This is bullshit. She was like, what's the point of having health insurance? I go, I know. So instead, I guess I'd have to pay $7,000 instead of $2,500 or whatever the ridiculous, like, what did it save me? So I'm sorry, Shelby Hall, you're having to go through that. And this is something like, again, there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. So I'm sorry you're going through that. I hope your mom feels better. Balthazar 228, thank you for supporting the show. I live in Colorado District 3, I'm assuming, and right now the most progressive choice I have for governor is my old Colorado 2 rep, Paulus, who is for M4A and progressive policies by name, but voted for Bush tax cut, etc. He's worth $400 million. Yeah, I know. I guess the only thing I would offer, are there any independents running? And if not, get someone to run or write yourself in. I don't know what to tell you on that. It sucks, man. Me personally, I'm done doing the lesser of two evils thing. I will not do that. If the Republican is just pure evil and the Democrat is some corporate Democrat, I'm not voting for him. Sorry, I'm just not. I'm not giving them my vote. I will vote in every election. June 5th is my primary in California, and I will be voting in that. So thank you for sharing that with us. where there was somebody else. Balthazar 228, my congressman is a GOP clown, but even though his challenger talks progressive talking points, he's mealy-mouthed and touts Ken's salad bar endorsed. Yeah, that's what they do. It's all platitudes. All platitudes. Bluebell 51, a better world is possible. Marcia Smith, I don't think Dems will do that well this year. I think you might be right. Shelby Hall, universal health care. Absolutely. We need it. It's so possible. It's so easy to do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we don't even have it. It's ridiculous. Zach Davis, I'm choosing not to vote Dem in the next election, even if they preach progressive values, because they still use superdelegates. In my opinion, the party is 100% corrupt and the party is dead. Your opinion? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If there's there's a couple progressives that I think can unseat a corporate Democrat, I'm going to vote for them. But if I even have a shred of doubt, or there's a little bit corporate-y, little bit nonsense, then I'll go third party. I have no problem going third party. And in the general, I probably will be going third party like almost across the board. Balthazar 228. There it is. Balthazar 228, thanks for supporting the show. But Graham, if we vote progressives into the general, how are we going to get a conservative Republican in the seat? Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, exactly. Two Democrats running against each other in a blue district, that's not good for democracy. Yeah, actually it is. Because then we have two Democrats that actually have to campaign. That's the thing that's so mind-numbing to me, when especially going back to what, all the attacks Jill Stein is taking. How dare she run? Candidates are supposed to have to campaign. They're supposed to have to say, these are my policies, these are my issues, this is how I'm going to do things differently, this is how I'm going to do things better than my opponent. This is what I think is the best way of action for this country or my district or the city or whatever the state that I'm running for. Just as I'm the Democrat, I get to win. I'm tired of that shit. Nancy Pelosi. Balthazar 228. The saying isn't the lesser of two evils is okay. The saying is the lesser of two evils is still evil. People need to stop misquoting this quote. Yeah. Make that your mantra. The lesser of two evils is still evil. That'll be my response to any neocon, liberal who says that crap. The lesser of two evils is still evil. Balthazar 228. But Graham, if I didn't endorse Lipinski, the students who were at Parkland and their supporters might actually have a voice in the Illinois general. Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Yep. Pelosi. Ugh. Can't wait to get her out of there. Brandon Williams. It kind of pisses me off that Democrats keep saying that if you vote third party, you split the vote. I'm pretty sure no one does want a Republican to win. Yeah, I'm tired of that crap. You split the vote. Fuck you. Run real candidates. Reform your whole party from top down. Reform your party upside down, front to back, side to side. Change your goddamn party, and maybe I'll consider voting for you. But so don't give me this fucking split the vote bullshit. Fuck you. But Trump has Nazis. Yeah, Trump's awful. You brought us him. Democrats, Democratic Party, you brought us Trump. So fuck you. Marcella Stevenson, yes, those are surfboards behind me. This is my red surfboard. This is the one I surfed with Putin. I went surfing yesterday. Scrabble Eddie, Hillary, morality is a quaint notion entertained by commoners. Yep. Kimberly, it amazes me that someone even like Tom Hartman, who has many progressive views, calls those who voted Stein misinformed. I won't support someone like Clinton ever. Yeah. Somebody said the stream froze. Yeah, Yeah, I'm feisty today. Yeah. It's the Democrats gave us Trump. Make no mistake, the Democrats gave us Trump. Sorry. I know it's not polite to eat while you're talking. Shelby Hall. Morning Joe kept saying that the special election in Phoenix had a Democrat that was too liberal, which is why she lost. She was a doctor that didn't believe in single payer. What the fuck? Yeah. That's their tactic. Don't go too left. The whole country wants it. The whole country wants Medicare for all or single payer, whatever you want to call it, universal health care. Whatever form it is, everyone wants it. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants more jobs. Everyone wants less debt. Everyone wants this. The corporate machine has to shit on a liberal, on saying someone was too liberal. And they're so dumb. Hillary was she's a pro-choice Republican. And I have to say this. Bernie was selling out fucking arenas and getting individual donations at $27 a throw, and he was outfunding everybody. Sorry. Tom Hartman is such a Democrat, it's not fair to call him a progressive. That's true. Marcia Smith, I got my ticket for the Lee Camp Jimmy Dore show in May. Are you going to go? Oh, I'm not sure. We'll see. C. Blaine, CBS News had the guy from The Intercept that had the tapes of the Dems trying to talk a progressive from dropping out of the race. Ah, good for CBS. We'll see if that guy will ever be on again. Graham, what is your opinion on the Republican Party? Because I consider them a clown show, but I still don't understand why people keep voting for them knowing they're not for the people. Yeah, I don't understand why people vote for the Republican Party, but what they do is they run on they keep their base in line with Second Amendment and pro-life, right? So that's it. They just keep playing that. Oh, they're going to come get your guns, and they play to that base. So it is a clown show. And if the Democratic Party was the workers' party, they would crush. They would win. If they ran progressive populist candidates and platforms and policies, they'd never lose. So the Republican Party can just be as crazy and as evil and as out of control as it wants to be because the Democrats offer no alternative. You want to know why the Republican Party is so awful? The Democrats have let them go right. They've let this whole country go right because the corporations have pulled everybody that way. The Democratic Party could have pulled this country way to the left. We could have health care for all. We could have college tuition. We could have a livable wage. We could have infrastructure. We could have better teachers' pay and all that stuff. We could have all that stuff. But the Democratic Party got hijacked by corporations, as did the Republican Party, and they've gone to the center. They've gone to the right, which has screwed us all over. And that's one of the reasons we have this awful, crazy Republican Party. Where are we at here? Plantastic Life. Thank you for supporting the show. Hillary Clinton believes that universal health care is as necessary as ponies. How effing despicable. Of course. That's the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton said single-payer health care are ponies. And free college tuition are ponies. She said that. Ponies. And I'm supposed to vote for her? Sorry. Nope. She said this when? Between Goldman Sachs? Goldman Sachs, who just released a report saying that curing diseases is bad for profits. That's who paid Hillary Clinton. Sorry. Yeah, we don't need a third party. We need a second party, Jimmy Dore. Yeah, of course. That's a great point. There is one. It's corporate party. The corporate war party. And it has a little pro-gun wing and a little pro-choice wing. Phil Britton, fundamental evangelicals are the KKK clowns, prior to their Bible-thumping ignorance as godly, shoving the Bible and theocratic terrorism down all of our throats. God is a lie. The Bible is bullshit. That's great, Phil. I believe in a higher power personally, but an organized religion I'm not a huge fan of. I was raised Catholic, and you know, when you allow priests to rape children and you cover it up, you kind of lose your taste for organized religion. Shelby Hall. How would Hillary like to have dry heaves and a kidney infection with no insurance for 5 days? Fuck that bitch. Yeah, she's a privileged white rich lady. Yay, feminism, huh? What? It so bothers me that people, some women consider her some sort of feminist hero. It's like, that is insane to me. She has had so much privilege. And she could be helping so many people, but she's not. Gee, I don't know. Ask the people of Haiti. Ask all of the brown women she fucking lit on fire in the Middle East when she was Secretary of State. When she was senator and supported the war in Iraq. Man. Aaron, Stephen Carl, fair question. NASA says, we get 52 million of your tax dollars every single day. We're robbing you. Our pensions are watertight. Marcia Smith, Hillary Rodham Clinton is not a feminist. She is a warmongering, racist oligarch. Yes. Bluebell 51, Hillary is helping herself lately with her super PAC. Shelby Hall, if Hillary would have left Bill after all the affairs, maybe I would have an ounce of respect for her. But I've got none. Yeah, and what did she do when her husband was all the, you know, back in the 80s and 90s when these women were accusing her husband? What did she do as an attorney? She crucified these women. Did that thing that you do to sexual assault and rape victims and stuff like that. You make them all, they're whores and they're lying. She did that. Big feminist hero Hillary did that. It's crazy. Where are we at? Somebody... something up here somebody said. Aaron A. Amanda Cumming from Actify Chat. Southern strategy and Reagan framing Dem Party as Communist Party is what shaped the Dem Party as what it is today. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, Amanda, that Actify Chat show, I've been watching it. She's really smart. She has a master's degree in neuroscience. And it's the interviews I've done with her have been really, I really like talking to her. She's really smart. I would check out Actify Chat for sure. A Google user, sad I can't contribute to your show the way I'd like. Anyway, I hope you're doing well enough, Graham. Google user, thank you so much, man. There's so many ways you can help this show. If you don't have the money to do the super chat here or can't do the Patreon or can't send money into the P.O. box, those are all great ways to support the show. Just make sure you're subscribed because Google is unsubscribing people. You can push these videos out on all your social media. You can do it right now. That helps get more viewers. The more viewers, the better numbers we have. currently have 73 people watching right now, which isn't 74, which isn't bad on a Sunday afternoon. The weather's starting to get nice in most of the country and the world, and people could be inside doing whatever, or outside rather. And yeah, so there's so many ways you can support the show, and I appreciate I appreciate that, and you know, I understand some people's situation is your financial situation is tight. I've been in those situations myself. Wasn't that long ago. When I first started this show over a year ago, money was tight, man. Money was tight. So don't feel bad. Just there's a lot of free ways to support the show. You can go into iTunes. The podcast could use some love. And positive reviews on iTunes and stuff helps that algorithm. It can help the more people that download the podcast. Even if you're like, oh, I already watched the YouTube videos, I don't want to, just download it and delete it after it downloads. But the download numbers help. And iTunes, just like any other site, tracks the algorithm. The more people that download the podcast and give it positive reviews, the more they'll push it up on iTunes, which gets it more listeners. I'd like to make the podcast a little more financially viable. That's a free way you can support the show. All those little things, liking videos, the views, just letting it watch, let the ads go all the way through on YouTube. There's a lot of ways to do it. I know I've talked about getting the show on Daily Motion, and I am going to do that. There's just been a slight delay with my producer and stuff like that, but it'll be out there. Don't worry about it. David Kapoor, woohoo, Graham, love you. So many good videos. You keep dropping. Thank you for inspiring us. Hey, man, thank you, David. You inspire me as well. Shelby Hall. Thank you for supporting the show. Did Sean Hannity buy my old house? Oh, God. Yeah, that crooked motherfucker. If he did, he's not living in it, because I don't think Sean Hannity could handle living in hippie Venice Beach, Santa Monica area. One of my neighbors near the condo that One West Bank stole from my house, thanks to Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and George Bush, there was a guy that had a huge sign on his front door when Bush was in office that just said, "Impeach Bush." It was like 20 feet long. It was on his fence. Nobody tried to tear it down. Nobody sprayed it with graffiti. People would honk and wave at it. I don't think Sean Hannity is living there. But hopefully he profited from stealing my house. Like the gutless clown that he is, that soulless asshole. See, that's the thing, too, when people just say, oh, well, I'm a woman, I have to support Hillary. I just go, really? I'm Irish, dude. I will never support Sean Hannity in a million years. I'd like to punch him in his face repeatedly. Like, punch it. Like, through his face. Boom. Thank you for supporting the show, Shelby. Michael Stiegel Jr., I missed last week's Super Chat. Did you start a book club? You know, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. And I've been trying to figure out where to put that. And then someone suggested like a book thing, and then I just didn't follow up on it. I'm still busy. I have 5 more episodes of the FNX show to finish. Like after this, I have to drive up to about 45 minutes away to the sound mixer studio to finish episode 9 that goes on the air next Friday, episode 8. Just so, I'm sorry, man. Somebody reminded me of this book thing, and I just didn't get a chance to set it up. I'm sorry. I haven't set it up more. Let me see what we got here. Basil Peterson, Richard Wolf just posted on Dionne that Amazon paid no taxes in 2017 and got a 2.5% rebate, which taxpayers paid for. Jesus Christ, that pisses me off. No taxes. Ugh. That makes me so mad. That should be mass protests. It should be mass protests. God. Balthazar 228. Graham, as much as I love bacon, you've chosen to forsake it. I offer this. Thinly sliced shiitake mushrooms, 5.5 teaspoons of soy sauce, 5 teaspoons of Evo, roast at 365, 20 minutes, makes a good bacon. Thank you for that recipe. Jeremy Chase, welcome. Death of the middle class started the day Ronnie Reagan was elected. That's correct. Good to see everybody here. Where are we at? Brandon Williams, if the Democrats lose again in 2018 midterm election, along with Donald Trump being reelected in 2020, what then? Oh, boy. God. That question, my reaction to that question is that it's highly plausible. That's why I'm like, ugh. But it's a really good question, Brandon, because the Democrats seem headed down that path. I don't know. I mean, enough out-of-touch neoliberals might just vote Democrat and then think that they've won, and then they're going to run a neoliberal like Kamala Harris in 2020. They're not going to let Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard or Bernie Sanders be the presidential nomination 20. They're just not going to let that happen. I don't see that happening in the next 2 years. Because you got to understand, a year from now is when the campaigning starts, if not sooner. So I don't see that happening. Yeah, we could have 4 more years of Trump thanks to the Democrats. I don't know what that looks like. It'll just be more of a slow burn like this. You'll see the recession will hit. I don't know. That's the one like wild card. There's a recession coming. When it comes, how hard it comes, that's the difference. That sounded a little sexual. But when it arrives, when it arrives, sorry. I'm trying to have this serious talk and I'm sounding like I'm watching a porno. When the recession is thrusted into the hot, moist public of America, how is America going to take that hot load of recession? Sorry, fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's the wild card. When a recession happens, that could change how everybody looks at everything. Because if a big recession happens somewhere leading up to the 2020 election, that could suddenly make somebody like Bernie running as an independent become way more viable than any of us ever thought. Just throwing that out there. Balthazar 228, thank you for supporting the show. I'm not a scientist, should never be said on any congressional panel. If your panel has anything to do with science, you need scientists on it. Oh yeah. Science is demonized. Is some sort of like, oh, those East Coast liberal scientists or whatever. It's just preposterous. And the corporate state has done this. The oil lobby has done a fantastic job at demonizing science and demonizing intelligence and keeping people dumb and uninformed. That's why they say that. Thanks, Balthazar 228. Lost in the Fog of War. Thank you for supporting the show. Paul Beckwith is the scariest guy on YouTube. You should interview him. I'm not that familiar with Paul Beckwith. Let me look him up. I'm going to look up Paul Beckwith. Paul Beckwith. Oh, Paul Beckwith YouTube. Oh, yeah, I think I have watched this guy, actually, now that I come think of it. Yeah. Right. Yep. I know Beckwith. I've watched some of these videos. Yeah, he is scary because he's speaking this mad, crazy truth that people don't want to pay attention to. Lost in the fog of war. You're absolutely right. But people need to be paying attention to them. We're not in climate change. We are in climate crisis. And we should talk about it in those terms and face the scary reality that is upon us, because it's that type of fear. We actually need that type of fear to maybe motivate everyone that's in power, or at least the masses, to do something about it. Because we could, if every powerful person ever said, we're making and we're going to do this, we could change things radically and put all these plans in place and just say, nope, that's illegal, that can't happen, that can't happen, we got to do this and this and this, and it could happen. You could see drastic change. It's a good point. Thank you, Lost in the Fog of War, for supporting the show, and thank you for bringing up Paul Beckwith. Everybody, check out Paul Beckwith. Basil Peterson, thank you for supporting the show. If we get an ice-free Arctic, this planet may become uninhabitable and politics may not matter. It's a valuable point. And that's an argument I would use to the lesser of two evil neoliberals. Is, I'm sorry, I'm not voting for some... And then I go, yeah, but you can't have Trump. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I've seen enough corporate Democrats sell out the environment. Or they'll just do some little token gesture piece of legislature or something like that. So I'm sorry, I want progressives that aren't backing down at all. People like Jill Stein. That's it. That's it. I'll vote green if I have to. Maybe we make the Green Party an actual big ticket party. Get them some real money, some real financing, you know? But they're demonized by the Democrats because they're a threat. Jill Stein was a threat to them. Everybody loved her when she was trying to do the recount. And then they've accused her of stealing the money. And she's gone, no, here's where the money went. She's been very upfront with it. Thank you for supporting the show, Basil Peterson. And it's an excellent point. Balthazar228, thanks for supporting the show. Search for extraterrestrial intelligence must be still in business because there's clearly none in our elected representatives. Yeah, our elected representatives are Jack Wabbins. Jack Wagons? Jack Wabbins? What am I, Elmer Fudd? I need some protein. My blood sugar's dropping. I need a little protein. Wash it down with some aminos. Bow, bow. All right. Let's see where we're at. Agent Dale Chomsky, thoughts on more scientists feeling more comfortable telling the truth about the real impacts of climate change? They used to be tight-lipped and conservative in their predictions. Well, I'm very happy about it because we got to stop fucking around. We got to stop fucking around. You know, it's people just need to come out and be very alarmist because all Americans, and America needs to be the driving force here because we're causing most of the problems. We need to be alarmists, scare people, wake them up with fear, because that's all dumb Americans respond to is fear. So scare the shit out of them into getting the environment together. That's that. I agree with that. Alien FX, thanks for supporting the show. New York Times just put out a subtle hit piece on Kucinich. Really? I'm shocked that the New York Times, the corporate war machine pushing New York Times, put a hit piece on Kucinich. Really? A real progressive is gaining traction? And of course they put out a hit piece. Not surprised. Email me that article if you can, and I'll try to do a story on it or something like that, because I want to know where that's at. Thanks for supporting the show. Kimberly Schwenke. Everyone check out the climate mobilization at Climate Mobilize to mobilize your city to renewable energy ASAP. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks for letting us know that. Shelby Hall. I'm thinking fat with my Reese's and washing it down with sugar-free Rockstar. Grandma's way healthier. Jesus. What are you going on, a 36-hour trucker bender or something? What are you doing, Shelby? You got to stay all night? You got to go to... You're DJing tonight through the... What are you doing? Balthazar 228. Thank you for supporting the show. You're feeding these guns. The thick thin bar that I'm eating right now is financing. I was going to do a bit. I ruined it. Balthazar 228. I only think Bernie's playing the game because he wants to be in debates. Dem will raise percentage bar to 150% as soon as independent gets 15%. He wins three-way too. Yeah. I think my hope is, Balthazar 228, is that Bernie is playing the game up until maybe 9 months to a year from now, when the Democrats do their final fuck you to him and he gets screwed over, and they've got some corporate Democrat running, and he says, that's it. And he grabs Nina Turner and says, we're running as independents. That's kind of, it's sort of my, maybe it's my my progressive optimism, which I need to cling to because there's a lot to bring me down. And because of what happened with Trump, this all bets are off. Anything can happen. So why not something crazy happens for good, in a good way, right? What if that happened? What if an independent progressive became president because both parties were so fucked and so corrupt that happened? And remember that feeling after Trump won, and we were all like, what? No, oh my God. What if we had that in 2020? We all went, no way! This is awesome! Real change is going to happen. I'd like to see it. I'm holding out hope. Because the alternative, as many of you, Basil Peterson pointed out, is that climate change, if we don't have real leadership doing something about it, it's lights out. Doesn't matter who wins what thing. It'll just be lights out. The next 30 years will just be a slow struggle for humanity to survive, and it'll get uglier and uglier every day. I don't want to see that. I want to see real change happen. I want to look back 30 years from now and go, remember how bad it was? And then some real leaders get on and everyone got involved and progressives really took over and saved the world. And now we've got this green energy and everything's better and the environment's starting to turn around. Like, it's possible. Art Kozlinski, United States General Strike. I'm still all about it and leading it. Good for you, Art. Jack Squat, what about Tulsi Gabbard? Yeah, I'd love to see Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. She might emerge. She might just say, I'm running for president, especially if like Kamala Harris is the one that the Democrats prop up as the corporate Democrat and Tulsi runs against her, because then that's what we should have, is like several real progressives running. So yeah, who knows if Tulsi runs? There's a lot of ifs and maybes, and some of them are could be good. There's some good potentials out there. That is the ticket I'd vote for. Balthazar 228. Quote, son, I'm sorry you had to live in the biodome, but that's because one woman decided that it was her turn to be the duplicitous warmongering leader. I know, Hillary Clinton, it's my turn. I want to be president. You had your shot in 2008 and you lost. Why do you get to run again? John Kerry wasn't like, me, I'm next. He ran and he lost. Howard Dean didn't run again. Thanks for supporting the show, Balthazar228. Brandon Williams, give me your opinion on Elizabeth Warren, because I still think she is still looking out for the people. I think she's dangerous. The fact that she gave Trump, she was one of the 5 Democrats in the fall that gave Trump $80 billion in more military spending that he didn't ask for. Elizabeth Warren signed that. That's what makes me scared. Has she done good things for people? Has she fought for people? Yes. But I think it's more platitude bullshit. I think when push comes to shove, she will support the war machine. If she has to. She will. And she'll get out there and say, we got to fight terrorism. She'll do it. I don't see her sticking to be tough. I don't see it. I won't vote for Elizabeth Warren. I'll vote for Tulsi Gabbard any day of the week. I'll vote for Nina Turner any day of the week, and I'll obviously vote for Bernie. I will not vote for Elizabeth Warren because she gave $80 billion. There's all that footage of her yelling at the Wells Fargo CEO for all this corruption. Josh, Elizabeth, you give him what for? The guy didn't go to jail. He got a $120 million severance package. She could have helped prevent that or fought harder. I don't buy Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry. I can't. I won't. Balthazar228, thank you for supporting the show. But Graham, if we forsake our corporate donations and corporate candidates, I won't be able to afford my next 300 plastic surgeries I planned. Nancy Pelosi. Well, yeah. Oh, you're one of the only people who comes to the show every week who just wants to post jokes. I love them. They're good jokes. You always make me laugh. And thank you for supporting the show. Okay. So I hope I haven't missed any more, Balthazar228. Did I get all of them? Kucinich, there we go. Wait. Okay, I think I got them all. David Lazarus, love the show. Keep it up, David Lazarus. Thank you. And you keep it up. It sounds like I'm reprimanding you. No, you keep it up. No, I love your show. Why are you fighting, Graham? Thank you, man. David went, isn't this an open mic thing? Yeah, guys, we're just picking names out of the hat. Yeah, everybody gets to do 3 minutes of their best jokes. If you really rock, then we'll bring you back on Saturday night to do a 10-minute set. Bluebell 51, Elizabeth Warren voted to get MIT more money to make smarter bombs. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't trust her. Sorry. She's just too much of the rich kid, blue blood, East Coast, war machine, token progressive. Shelby Hall, I really like Ro Khanna. He's a real deal progressive. Yeah, he seems like it. Some people have asked, is he another Obama, fake progressive? But he seems to be the real deal. Celeste Holmes just received the notice. Yeah, I don't know why people get it so late. Let's see. Bluebell 51. Elizabeth Warren had a chance to be for the people, but she didn't endorse Bernie when it would have mattered, and then endorsed Hillary when it didn't. Yep. Brandon Williams. I personally believe the reason I'm assuming you mean Elizabeth Warren, that does that is because she's scared of being smeared by the establishment. And that may very well be true, but then she's not a real leader. And that just shows you if she's scared of being smeared, then she'll buckle. She'll buckle if she gets to be president. She'll fucking buckle. She's not going to fight the war machine. She'll buckle. She'll get up there and talk about women's rights and LGBT, and she'll fight for that, and that'll be great. But she'll be signing off on all the corporate bullshit and all the wars, and she'll sell. And if she gets up there first female president and tells the world that we need to go to some whatever bullshit war, all the liberals will go, oh, yeah, I guess she's tough. No, she's part of the war machine, man. That's why I think she's dangerous. So Jeremy Chase, Warren is an Oklahoman and I apologize. Jeremy, you don't have to apologize for your whole state. Okay? I've been to Tulsa. You don't have to apologize for it. Agent Dale Chomsky. Jill Stein holds her shape. Jeremy Corbyn holds his shape. You can't be afraid of the smear machine. You have to get right in its face. Exactly. That's the point. Jeremy Corbyn hasn't been like, oh, I'm afraid of the smear tactics of the machine. You know what I'm saying? He's still fighting it. He's saying this is bullshit. Jill Stein isn't backing down. I haven't seen Nina Turner back down. She's not an elected official right now, but she's going to run again for something. Shelby Hall, I'm so sick of all these soft people bitching about dumb shit, like Michelle Wolf was too mean to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yeah, who gives a shit? Jack Squad, any thoughts on Michelle Wolf's performance of the... Yeah, I mean, Michelle Wolf made fun of some stuff, and, you know, that's fine, and everyone, but it's just sort of like... They hire a comic to do these correspondence dinners, and if a comic says something crazy, everybody gets all mad, and it's like... Good for the comic, I guess, whatever, but it's also just like more... It seems like more distraction bullshit. 4 years, undrinkable water in Flint. I did a video on it. They've made some improvements, but it's still been 4 years. There's still people bathing with bottled water, right? We just spent $120 million to bomb Syria a couple weeks back. 130 kids a day are dying still in Yemen, every day. And Michelle Wolf said some crazy shit at a rich person's asshole dinner. Don't give a shit. How bad do I think this country is going to get in a few years, as it already is? Well, unless there's real change happening, that's what I worry about. Because the thing I keep saying, when the protests get bigger, when there's real strikes starting to happen, and labor responds as labor always has, with force, then it's going to get ugly. When a recession hits, and it's going to hit, and millions of people are out of work and can't feed their families, then people get desperate. And this government will not respond with compassion. I mean, look what Obama did. Look how he responded to Occupy Wall Street. Look how he responded to, I mean, all of the violence in Black Lives Matter and Ferguson and all that happened under Obama's watch. Standing Rock happened under Obama's watch. That was Obama. Now we've got this orange-skinned, small-dicked lunatic in the fucking White House. This bag of shit, this porn star fucking cokehead loser. It's going to be hell. Hell's going to break loose. I'm really worried about it. I'm really worried about just fractionalized conflicts. What if something like Charlottesville happens again? It will. Only then people respond with more violence, and then the cops come in, and then it lasts for 5-6 days, like the LA riots of '92. What if a half a dozen of those break out? There's 50 million people living in poverty right now. If another recession hits, what if it goes up to 70 or 80 or 100 million people? What if a third of the country is out of work? What if 100 million people get mad and take to the streets? That's gnarly. And this government isn't going to like, oh, let's make quick changes. They're going to just fucking boom. You're going to see more aggressive violence. It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. It's why I really want to see, progressives get in there quickly. Balthazar 228, Nancy Pelosi, always one plastic surgery away from being a human being. I don't think they have a surgery for that. Jeremy Chase, Doug Jones is a super progressive. Google user, do you think Trump will go completely off the rails, shilling, if he is faced with no prospect at a 2020 at some point? Yeah, he'll lose. When he loses power, when he's finally deposed, if he doesn't get a second term, he'll go nuts. And some of his diehard people might go crazy. I don't know. I need some protein. Leda Gray, thank you for supporting the show. Wolf was awesome. Said the same things you and Jimmy do, but to their faces. That's cool. Calling out the war machine, man. That's what I want to see. And I want to see more progressive comedians. It's a bummer. So many comedians are just neoliberals. They got some Trump joke in their act, but nothing more. So, good for her. That's what comedians should be doing. Lita Gray, I think it's the first time I've seen your name on this. Thank you for supporting the show. Balthazar 228, $4.99. In 2019, Graham will have to tell Dem Party that taxing millionaires to finance Bezos' space station is a bad idea. Bad idea. I could see GOP swapping in Pence. Yeah, I think they got Pence ready to go. They got him for a reason. He's an evangelical. The Republican Party got him in there. And they know there's all this corruption and evil crap about Trump. They didn't think Trump was going to win. So Pence is just waiting in the wings. And as I said this before, and I'll say it again, I still haven't changed my opinion on the fact that if Trump gets impeached or whatever, and Pence steps in some ways he's more dangerous because people won't galvanize against Pence as much as they do Trump. They won't like him, but he's nice and he won't be tweeting crazy shit. He won't be saying crazy shit. He's polite. He's not as much of an egomaniac psycho. I mean, he's nuts. He's an evangelical and they're dangerous, but yeah. It's a good point. It's a good point, Balthazar 228. And I will tell the Democratic Party that. Agent Dale Chomsky, cokeheads don't deserve to be lumped in with Trump. Ha ha ha. Stephen Carl, we can't incrementally legislate our way out of an oligarchy. That's a good point. It's got to be big sweeping. It's got to just be like voting all these people out there. And everyone has the power if they realized it, you know? A 1 and a 2. The police response to Occupy is what will be done. To this day, my idiot sister doesn't even know what the cops did. Yeah, it wasn't covered. The mainstream media just demonized all these unorganized kids with their Occupy. They don't even have a purpose. Yeah, that's probably did. Kevin Eckhart, Graham, could union leaders talk to police unions and get support for mass worker strikes? That's a really bold idea. If unions talk to the police union and organized it ahead of time, you would get some support within the police union. Maybe not overall, maybe not the whole union would endorse it, but you would get some support from the police union. You know? You would get some support. That's a good tactic. Thank you, Balthazar 228. RIP, your overtime. Really appreciate it, man. Scrabble, Eddie, Pence, Bolton, etc. Neocons are interchangeable. Yeah. Stable Genius Progressive. I live in LA. I walk by the tent cities all the time. It sucks. I don't know what the hell to do about it, though, other than just be normal, progressive, sane citizen. Well, there's some things you have already done, probably Stable Genius Progressive, which is, I think it was Measure H, which was voted for and approved last year, and it's just starting to be implemented about getting programs to get the homeless shelters and education and housing and all this stuff is starting to happen. They're also looking at paying people to build mini houses in their backyard to give homeless housing. So there are things you could do. I don't know if that's your situation, but you can look into that. I've donated to some homeless organizations. I try to donate clothes to homeless organizations as best I can. There's little things you can do. And also, like I say, vote with your dollars and vote for progressives. So, yeah, the 10 cities are a real deal in LA. And as the recession, when it comes and the economy gets worse, there's going to be a lot of tent cities everywhere. Stephen Carl brings up a point. No, because at this point, the police are taxpayer-funded private security force for the 1%. Going back to the police union question, I assume it's an excellent point. Some police unions might, some police officers might line up with another labor union, but they might do what you're talking about, which is just say, no, we're private-funded security force. And if the unions do side with labor, you better believe then the corporations are going to bring in the tiger swans of the world like they did in Standing Rock. That will happen. Pence signed a law that forces women to prove their pregnancies were naturally terminated. Good God. Yeah, to really fix the problem, talking about homelessness, Stable Genius Progressive, though, it is going to have to be some kind of big systematic change. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like reforming capitalism. You know? But there's little things we can do, and there's cities around the country that are addressing the problem the right way. Some are doing it the wrong way, like writing tickets to people that are feeding the homeless, but that's insane. Balthazar 228. Thank you for supporting the show. It's still obscene to be debating solutions to solved problems. Healthcare, Medicare for all, homelessness, give homes, internet, municipal internet, mobile data. Yeah. Well, that's the key, though. Balthazar 228, you bring up an excellent point, which is when people say, oh, what do we do? It seems to say the solutions are out there. Find all, there's so much housing just in LA, and this is probably a lot of cities. There's unoccupied apartments. Can't we make some of that housing for the homeless? Oh, that'll be nasty. It'll bring down. No. But let them have dignity. And you have rules. You can't be doing drugs and this, that, and the other thing. But if you give somebody a house, this is your home. Here's clean clothes. You get to shower everywhere. And here's medical help. If someone's dealing with an addiction or mental illness or whatever, not all homeless are dealing with that, but a large portion are. You put an infrastructure around that to help people and put some compassion and dignity around it, then there's real solutions. You're right. It is obscene that we're debating these things. Yeah. Well, how do we do about healthcare? Medicare for all. It's already in place. Well, how do we do with homelessness? Give them homes. There's plenty of housing. The internet, municipal data, mobile data. It's a great point, Balthazar 228. Marcia Smith, a little extra love to my favorite political vigilante. Thank you, Marcia Smith. You've been supporting the show from day one. I really appreciate it. And so much love to all of you political vigilantes. Bum 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 bum. Giant hand. Yeah. Sorry, I lost a little bit. Thank you, Marcia Smith. Thank you, Balthazar 228. Jeremy Chase, the image of a police officer spraying an 80-something-year-old woman in the face with OC will forever be burned in my memory. Yeah. I know. Bluebell 51, to quote Bill Hicks, when you're stepping over another homeless person, do you ever think maybe our system is broken? Bluebell 51, I was the info chick at Occupy DC. People didn't know that we were beaten, tear gas, pepper sprayed, and tased. Yeah. People didn't know that happened. And when the media did cover it, it was always covered as the Occupy people got violent. Anytime there's a peaceful protest and the cops come in with violence, they always say the agitator started it. They'll always say that. They will always say that. And you just have one person that's violent in the group, and they'll point to that. There'll be 100 people all peacefully protesting, and one person will like throw a rock at a cop, and they'll say all the protesters were violent. The protests got violent. They'll always say that to justify their jackboot, corporate nonsense, bullshit, violent horribleness. Fuck them. Balthazar 228. Who cares if they're doing drugs? Talking about the homeless. Giving them home helps with everything. Give them needle exchanges. Give them care if they want to. No stigmas. No, I'm talking about let's say there's an apartment complex or a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of homeless people, and you're saying we want to move the homeless people in. Give them homes. Get them off the streets and give them homes. So an argument is always made, well, they're all doing drugs. And I've lived next to people that do a lot of drugs, and you don't want that. But I agree with you to the point that you come in and say, I agree with needle exchange programs, but also getting them cleaned up. That's how you pitch it to a neighborhood, or to, let's say there's an apartment complex with a bunch of vacancies, and you're like, we want to give people off the streets and give them a second chance. Because they're going to just envision, some sort of crazy tent city now in my nice apartment complex, and they're all going to be doing drugs, and it's going to be nuts. You say, no. We're going to give them support and treatment programs if they want it, and help them get their lives better. A lot of people are on the street doing street drugs because they don't have hope, or there's not good drug and alcohol treatment programs for them. They're self-medicating mental illness with street drugs. There's a lot of reasons for that. So that's how you pitch it. That's how you sell it, and that's how you do it. Is you help people and say we're going to reintegrate them back into society. Give them the dignity of their own home and their own shower and clean clothes, and then we're going to help them find work and all this other stuff. Give them medical care. That's how you do it. Give them all the care they want. Yeah, I don't think there's any stigma about them using, or if they're using drugs, there should be no stigma about that, but they should be offered help. Drug addiction is pretty gnarly, man, and it should be treated as a medical problem, not a criminal problem, because it is a medical problem. We've been criminalizing it for decades in this country, and all it does is help the private prison industry. So thanks for supporting the show. What's going on here? I'm having an issue. What is this one? Sometimes is my internet frozen? What's going on? Sorry, my live control room is being odd. Okay. Shelby Hall, no school tomorrow again due to teacher strike. They're striking in Arizona. Wow. Thanks for supporting the show. Stable Genius Progressive Graham, you should do a segment on your show where you compare insane jihadist Muslim policies to Texas state law and have the audience guess which place that policy is law. That's a great, oh my God. I will want to do that. If I do a live show, I want to do that. I want to do that. We'll play a game show. Yeah. We'll do a game show. Yeah. That's a game show. That's my game show. I would absolutely do that. I will do that for a live show. Yeah. Marcia Smith, I know you're repairing your home. Still getting repairs and estimates and hoping to start soon. We hope your home gets fixed up. Phil Britton, Trump gifted the Saudis last January a $200 billion infrastructure contract. How damn potholes and bridges doing in your town? Yeah, I know. $200 billion infrastructure project for Saudi Arabia. The American president did that. Still contaminated water in Flint, Michigan. Pipelines have leaked. It's insanity. It's insanity. Yeah. Utah's housing first model works. Look it up. If they can do it, anyone can. 91% homelessness reduction. Housing first and offer social worker help and programs. Cheaper to house. Great. Thanks for sharing that with us. Stephen Carl, a riot is the language of the unheard. MLK. Weed saves lives. Where else we got here? Yeah, go to Art Kizlinski's U.S. General Strike. I believe he has a Facebook page for that. A lot of questions coming in. You guys are saying good stuff. Shelby, I'll pick your fundamentalism. I'll take punishing women for 400 gram. That's right, Shelby. You thought it was Saudi Arabia? Ooh, that's Texas. Sorry. You thought that was the... You thought that was the Taliban? No, that was Mike Pence. That was his policy. I'll do my best game show voice. The new game show Graham. That's right, everybody. We're going to play Muslim or Texas. David Lazarus. Portugal decriminalized all drugs and drug use has fallen significantly even for cannabis. This is the best solution, cheaper for society and the legal system as well. Yeah, absolutely. We've got our prisons filled up with ridiculous minor drug offenses. You know, you legalize it, you make it safe, you tax it, you give people treatment if they need it. We have alcohol treatment centers. We have nicotine treatment centers. Those are legal. You know, I believe in being clean and sober. I don't want to do any of that stuff. But I don't need the law to tell me that. I made that choice for myself. I didn't really, succumb to peer pressure. People try to pull that with me. I tell them to go fuck themselves. Yeah, I used to do a lot of game shows. I used to host a show called Cram on the Game Show Network and Strip Poker on USA Today. You Google Strip Poker, you'll see me. Crazy hair, long sideburns, manicured eyebrows, big shiny shirts. It was ridiculous. It was so fun, though. It was fun. Balthazar228, thank you for supporting the show. Last one, I swear. Current abortion law is 1992 statute. Women can be asked to jump through hoops, not too many. I'd argue for public-funded abortion as 3 to 5K when 60% of U.S. population can't afford 1K is too many. Let me see if I understand this, Balthazar. Women can be asked to jump through hoops, not too many. I'd argue for public-funded abortion, me too, as $3,000 to $5,000 when 62% of U.S. population can't afford 1,000 is too many. Okay, I think I get that, Balthazar 228. Meaning you need to reform the current abortion law from 1992. I think I understand that. I'd argue I would argue for publicly funded abortion. Well, that's the other thing. And this is why I'm glad to hear that the Women's March, those people who organized that, are making it an anti-war thing, because if you want to get women's rights, cut the military budget in half. I've said this before and I will say it again. You want public abortions, publicly funded abortions for women? Absolutely. You want health care for women? You want maternity leave? All that stuff. There's money there. They're not ponies, Cut the military budget in half. So if I understand correctly, Balthazar 228, I appreciate that point. Stephen Carl, jihad or yeehaw? Shelby, you were on Wheel of Fortune 2002. Nice. All right. Sometimes this thing just freezes up and I can't see all the new questions coming in. But thank you for supporting the show. I got to go soon because I got to go edit. Balthazar 228, Medicare for all would cover it, overturning the Hyde Amendment. Shelby Hall says, I say fuck Hyde. It's an amendment. It can be changed. Nice. Anti-war. With universal health care, there would be no need for Planned Parenthood also. That's a good point. Universal health care covers everything. Everything you need. Kidney stone like Shelby's mom, to an abortion, to knee surgery, to whatever. Universal health care. Make an appointment, go in, free of charge. It's part of your basic right of being in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Bluebell 51, anti-war. That's why Planned Parenthood is against single payer. Wow, I did not know that. Shelby Hall, I would be out of a job if we got universal health care, but guess what? I'd find something else to do. Yeah, good for you. That's the other thing too. What of all these people? They'll be out of jobs in the insurance. There'd be other work. There would be other work for you. If we had universal health care, a bunch of other jobs would be created. Carl Knight, thank you for supporting the show. What's it like to hang out with famous lefties versus conservatives? I know some conservatives that are pretty reasonable. Sometimes the lefties can be less reasonable. The conservatives treat me a little differently because I've done the USO tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, so they're not so quick to just like, oh, you libtard. Now, if I hadn't done that, they might be more disrespectful to me. So they tend to give me more respect. Any comedian that's gone overseas, they give a lot of respect to, even if they're like, I can tell they do not agree with most of my politics, but they're just like, hey, thank you for doing that. And they sort of acknowledge how conflicted they are, because I say all my crazy, I don't like guns or whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, but I went to Iraq. And they're just like, well, thank you for your service and going over there. And they give me a lot of respect for that. So they're more apt to hear my point of view. The lefties, it depends on what types of lefties you're talking about. The progressive lefties I love hanging out with. There's not a lot of us, but I love hanging out with them. That's why I love doing Jimmy Dore's show live. It's like cathartic for me. I haven't done one in a couple of months, and it's so great. And I feel so invigorated and so positive. And it's like, it's great. The neoliberals, it's a little tough sometimes. We always agree, Yeah, I agree. I don't like Trump. He's awful. He's bad. But sometimes I can sort of get them to hear a little bit of like, look, this is what happened to me. I lost my house and it was taken to me from Obama, and I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. And they sort of like, all right, like they're like kind of like, all right, Grant, like they don't want to agree with me, but it's weird being a progressive, it's weird because we could take shit from both sides, and it's problematic. So I don't know. David Les, yes, we'd love to see you on Jimmy's show more. I'm supposed to do it last week, and then he rescheduled one day, and then my car broke down, which I'm driving a gas car right now. Oh, my electric car, there was a recall on like a charging part, and they were like, your car could just stop at any point, so you need to change it. This was on Thursday. And they're like, the part's not going to be ready here until Tuesday. So they gave me a free rental car. It's all covered in the warranty, but I'm driving a gas car. I had to put gas in it the other day. I felt dirty. I just felt dirty. Ugh. Walking into a porn shop or something. Just felt skeevy and wrong. Ugh. So I jerked off in the car. Wait, what? What did you say? You can't say that. But thanks for supporting the show, you guys. I got to run. I got to go edit. I got to go edit the First Nation Comedy Experience. I want to thank all of the super chatters. You guys are so great, man. I love this show. Balthazar228. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228. Shelby Hall. Shelby, I hope you can get through Tuesday night with your mom with as least stress as possible. I know that's hard, but my heart goes out to you, and I hope come Wednesday you can get that taken care of. And it's better for her and you. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228. Balthazar228. I feel like Balthazar228. I feel like a robot. Balthazar228. Balthazar228. Alert. 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 Plantastic Life. Dominic, thank you so much. Sean Comets. God, I hope I didn't miss this one, dude. Support independent media. Thanks as always. Thank you, Sean Comets. Check out his artwork. Dude, my bad. Sean Shelby Hall, thank you. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228. Lost in the Fog of War. Thank you for supporting the show. Basil Peterson, thank you. Balthazar228. Alien FX. Balthazar228. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228. Thanks, dude. Thank you so much. If we ever meet in person, I'm gonna do something creepy. Wait, what? David Lazarus, thank you for supporting the show. Lita Gray, I think first time on the show. Thank you so much. Balthazar228. Carl Knight. Oh, I forgot to answer this question. Besides Jimmy, who's your favorite host on TYT? I like listening to Anas Kasparian. I like Cenk sometimes. I don't always agree with Cenk, but I respect so much of what he's done and what he's built up. I really respect that. So, and I miss Jordan Charlton. So Carl Knight, thanks for supporting the show. Balthazar228. Carl Knight, besides Jimmy, who's your favorite host on TYT? Man, I'm sorry I missed those, but I'm answering them now. I like the movie one, with, God, I'm blanking on his name. That's interesting to watch sometimes. And I like watching Stephen O and Steph on Aggressive Progressive. So thanks, Carl Knight. Marcia Smith, thank you. Carl Knight, dude, I'm sorry I missed this question 3 times, but I'm answering it now 3 times. You're getting 3 answers. Yeah, I think those are all the ones I've listed on TYT. I got to be honest, I haven't watching it as much because sometimes it gets a little clangety, but that's what I like. That's what I like watching. So thanks for supporting the show. Balthazar228. Shelby Hall. Carl Knight. Man, I've missed a bunch of these, dude. My bad. Carl Knight. Lefty women like Ronna Kalick and Abby Martin, etc. are very attractive. I want to compliment their looks without sounding like a creep. Any advice? Well, first of all, I like them for what they're saying, right? So I like what Abby Martin is saying. And I like the fight that she's bringing. I like watching Empire Files. She's whip smart. So her looks are lower on the list for me. You know, I mean, she's whip smart, and the only time, like, because Abby Martin is so attractive, I have a lot of respect for her because she could be making millions of dollars with MSNBC, right? You watch MSNBC and Fox and CNN. The reporters, especially the female reporters, are usually very attractive. She could be playing that neoliberal corporate war machine media game and be so rich, but instead she sticks to her ideals and her principles. So she's doing what she's doing in spite of her looks, in my opinion. So it's like her smart, her ethics, her moral compass, her sense of justice, they're way ahead of all of it. And same with Raina Kellick. I saw her in Jimmy Dore show. She's whip smart, man. They're fighting the good fight. They're calling out the bullshit. You know? To me, that's what's most attractive to them. Because look, I live in LA and there's a lot of beautiful women here, but they're pretty shallow. There's just a lot of beautiful people here, male and female, and they're pretty shallow and they don't care about politics, or they're just neoliberals. That's not attractive to me. Somebody's intellect is attractive to me. You know? Like Pand Activist. When I interview her, she's so smart and I love talking to her. I love hearing her politics. You know? And like when I see, I mean, Megyn Kelly is not that attractive to me. Physically, she's an attractive woman, but her personality and her sellout and she said, face it, kids, Santa's just white. That's offensive to me. She's not attractive to me. Does that make sense? All right, Carl Knight. I'm sorry I missed him, but I made up for it. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Derek Robert, Israel just attacked Syria and killed many Syrian and Iranian fighters the day after Pompeo visited Netanyahu. The war with Iran is now beginning. Oh, shit. Oh, boy. I hope this doesn't, yeah, I'm sorry I gotta go before we can even get into that discussion. But thank you guys so much. And go wax that board up. Thank you, Jeremy Chase. And yeah, I really appreciate the show, and I appreciate what all you guys are doing. And you know, I like the conversations we have. I like the questions you're asking. I like how you guys support the show. I should be on Jimmy Dore coming up this next week. And of course, the Progressive Comedy Tour, Ron Placone and I, May 9th, Tempe, Arizona, May 10th, Lake Havasu at Pennington's Pub, May 11th in Vegas, May 12th in San Diego. All of them are at grahamelwood.com, or if you go to the Progressive Comedy Tour Facebook page, come out to one of those shows. And I look forward to meeting all of you in person. Excuse me, all of you in person if you come to the live show. So really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. We will see you next week. And yeah, I'm a surfer. So you guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the show. Like and subscribe to all the videos. Make sure you're subscribed because Google is unsubscribing people. So even if you've subscribed numerous times, they might have unsubscribed you. They're demonetizing any of my war videos. I'll start changing the titles and putting weird signals in Syria and all that crap. But I love doing the show. I love all the things that you guys ask me. And Do me a favor. I'd like to be on TY2. Email, if you're TYT subscribers especially, email them and say you want me on the show. If they get a wealth of emails saying, put Graham Elwood on your show, put Graham Elwood on TYT. I haven't been on. The only time I'm on there is when Jimmy asked me to be on Aggressive Progressives, and that hasn't happened in months. So I'd love to be on it. They've told me, oh, Graham, we'll have you on, but I don't know. They're busy. They're a big channel. I'm just one guy. But let them know you want me on the show. And any other big YouTube shows, suggest me as a guest. Many of you suggested it to Tim Black, and I'm going to be on like in a week, so that's really cool. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Here comes the big crazy finger of truth, shutting it down, making Gotham great again.